Hi, everyone. I'm DeFi Dad, and this is episode 16 of Yield TV. Okay, I've got the deacon of DAI with me today, Mariano Conti. Mariano, thanks for joining me. How's life since retiring from Maker?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It has been fun at times. Other times, it's just me watching CoinGecko, which gets kind of boring. But I don't know. There's been a little bit of everything. Also, DeFi has been crazy for a while, and then it kind of cooled down a little bit.
Yeah, we've definitely had like some I call it like a micro bubble because it's local to what's happened. We've been in this sort of crazy surging market for really only, I don't know, you count it back to like May when the comp token launched. And even before that, we had pretty exciting times, but it was more like reasonable returns. We were all excited because you could earn 20% using like the Curve Y pool. But yeah, it's good to have these drawdowns. I was kind of confused. Like, am I supposed to be like trying all these new DeFi apps that all are food emojis and have these crazy inflationary schedules? And now I feel like we've started to see like a return to quality with like recently, Pi DAO launched some liquidity mining program, the DeFi Pulse Index, the Index Co-op as well. I love anything in indices because it's a great way to gain exposure in legacy markets, and it's a great way to help someone to gain exposure to the upside in DeFi without having to like, what is the term, ape into all of these different farms, something like that.
I agree. And for example, back in, I think it was April, Alessio from Pi DAO, he contacted me. We've been friends since maybe 2018. I remember he used to go to hackathons and win something every single time. So I knew that he and his team were really great. So I invested a little bit in Pi DAO back in April, and then I forgot about it. And what was it, last week, 10 days ago, they finally launched, and I think it is a great product and much like the others you said, Index Co-op. It's something, the DeFi Pulse. It's things that people want. It may have been drowned in a sea of projects that are being launched, and then it's bad. I think some people may have been burned from the past couple of months, like you say, the amount of low quality projects that came out. But the fundamentals are there. The big DeFi projects that have been working for a couple of years, or the new ones that are launching that have serious people and backing behind it. Those I have full confidence in. Like you say, I believe it's like a mini bubble. And this is actually the best time to just go back to building.
Absolutely.
I've actually been thinking about it as well, because like I told you at the beginning, it's fun to not do anything, but then it's like, what do I do with my day? It's like, and then I've been, opening a code editor at least once a day. It's, do I do something? Do I don't do?
That's interesting. What do you think is missing in the market right now, or what needs to be built? I talked to Lasse Clausen yesterday of 1KX, and he was showing me Union protocol that's going to launch soon, and that's unsecured lending or under collateralized lending and or under collateralized borrowing. And it's exciting, like that's a use case we've all talked about forever, but it's always been, I don't know, I've always thought it was really far out, many years away from where we are now, because when people talk about lending and borrowing, you're not going to be able to help folks who really do need to borrow and take out a loan if if the caveat is you must have more money deposited than what you need. Anyone I've tried to explain it to is like, what? Why would I borrow if I already have more money? And then you're like, well, if you see this as a store of value and you want it to remain there and go long, then you can borrow against it. And they're just like, what's this guy talking about? So anyways, what do you think is missing right now in the DeFi market?
Well, that one is interesting, and it's also tied very much to identity on the blockchain. That is still pretty interesting to me. And the good thing is we've seen many projects, Bright ID is now back, front and center. I see a lot of projects using it. I believe it was, Kevin Owaki yesterday or the day before. He showed a bunch of identity services that they were using for Gitcoin, to improve civil resistance. And there was a whole bunch. Then maybe, I don't know, this past cycle we had yield aggregators. Maybe we'll have an identity aggregator, because there are so many and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. He showed Broad ID, he showed POAP, he showed many others. And maybe, you have one that, for example, another thing, Amin Soleimani yesterday tweeted about a way to look at the mempool for transactions and then checking that address to see how likely they were to, revert or not that transaction. So you could have a payment system where you would accept with zero confirmations, right? It's like, I can send you some Ether, and then you could check and say, okay, how likely is this address to, cancel the transaction before it's actually accepted. So that could be tied up to, identity scores. And I think those are making a comeback, and there's a good market for that kind of data.
It makes sense that we've all been excited about identity forever. It's always been a use case talked about. I think some of the reasons that it just hasn't caught on yet, or that we haven't had like a very successful decentralized identity built on Ethereum, is you need data points, you need activity. And it's really been just in the last year that we've gone from storing value and transferring value on Ethereum to doing, really transformational sort of peer-to-peer finance. Where you used to be at Maker, like that was the original and only DeFi application. And that was exciting. It was crazy because by like summer 2019, you all had something like 500 million in value, which at the time it was like most value in DeFi was in Maker.
Yeah.
But now we've got this ecosystem just flourishing. I mean, 500 million isn't a big number anymore. We're seeing, if you look at the top DeFi applications, really you need 500 million to be in the top 10 now. And that number is going to be eclipsed in the coming months. I'm sure by end of 2020, who knows, we could see 1 billion as like the marker for the top 10. So anyways, what I mean to say is we've got the activity now. Now it's possible to start to build a sense of indicators that tell us whether or not someone is trustworthy or not. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm putting in a lot of transactions daily, playing with lots of applications. I'm hoping that when that first becomes available, I've been pushing this idea that I want to take out a home mortgage through Ethereum. It might be too soon, but I'm looking at Aave. I'm waiting for this Union protocol to come out. And so anyways, yeah, exciting times. By the way, what we're going to end up covering today with Mariano is we were talking about this, like his adventures recently in the mempool. I'd love to talk about it as in like actually define it in layman's terms, help people to understand like what the hell is the mempool? Why does it matter in Ethereum and DeFi? And then what sorts of like lessons you've had lately with it? Is there any sort of like follow-up actions that we can take to to take advantage of those lessons. And you even mentioned earlier, like potentially coding a smart contract. So I've never done that before, but I'd love to fail at it with you. So Mariano, is there anything else though you want to cover today?
I think those are good topics. Looking at what I've been searching lately with the mempool is there are a lot of things that started becoming interesting. With yield farming, and it's the mempool is accurate data that you want. It's not mostly for humans. It's more for bots and arbitrage and things like that. The other one, so I recently became an advisor to Block Native, and they have a
cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Good for them. I really like the team. Drew recently joined too as someone I've known, but yeah. Anyways, please tell me more. So you're an advisor now at Block Native. Tell everyone what does Block Native do?
Well, they have servers around the world, and they run Ethereum nodes and Bitcoin nodes, and they know everything there is to know about the mempool. The mempool, if you've read any of the articles lately about Ethereum being a dark forest, when you send a transaction before it is mined, it gets propagated to different nodes, and there's a period between you send it and when the transaction is mined that anybody knows what that transaction is going to do, and there are many actors that can take advantage of that knowledge and front run you, so run their own transactions in cases where they may extract value from it before you do. And there are many examples of this. Simple ones is like you want to swap a token on Uniswap, and you go to the UI, and by default, I think the slippage is 0.5%. And you say, I want to trade this token for this other token. And when you send the transaction, there are multiple bots that maybe look at the price and say, hey, if I buy this token before this transaction is mined, then the transaction that is coming in will buy it for a little bit more, and then I can sell it either in the same block or a different one, or maybe even in a different protocol. I can buy this on Uniswap, and then the transaction comes in, and then I sell it maybe on Balancer and make a profit. And this is happening 24/7, like all the time. It's incredible to see, and that's a simple example, right? But
so do you think is this affecting like average DeFi users, or is it something that is more for, I guess, like a more sophisticated DeFi user?
So it does affect. It affects everybody that is trading all the time, maybe in tiny percentages. And this is no different from the stock market and bots doing high frequency trading. Whoever has access to the mempool faster and is able to code these bots, they have an edge, And there was talk recently with Phil Diane and Georgios Konstantinopoulos in ETH Global that they talked about, miner extractable value, things like this. And the cool thing about Block Native and their API is that I think it's gonna put a lot more power back into people's hands. And I don't expect any one individual to code things like this, but there could be a DAO that takes advantage of this data and becomes competitive. There are already some examples of DAOs participating in auctions, trying to get some additional value, out of DeFi. And I believe things like this are gonna help as well. And then just, it's fun looking at, transactions flying by several per second, per block, trying to, get as much value out of DeFi as they can. It's just mesmerizing.
So can you give an example what let's say I'm a DeFi user that I'm using a lot of applications. I do some trading, I guess, on Uniswap, but I'm definitely not trading daily. I've got loans. I've taken out a loan before with Aave. I've taken out vaults with Maker. What else? I've got exposure to indices like PiDAOs, Pies, or the DeFi Pulse Index. For the type of user I am, my profile, can you think of any ways that I could be using this? Like, am I a little too simple with the examples that I gave there? Like, would I need to be like a high frequency trader that's trading daily on something like Uniswap?
I can think of tools that could be built on top of this that could help, regular users like us. Let me give you a couple of examples. There's a few ENS accounts that are famous, DeFi Maximalist.eth, and a few others.
Oh, I didn't know. That's funny. What are some of the others? DeFi Maximalist.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. There was one that I don't know if it's active anymore, but a couple of months ago, reasonably sized house study. Very apropos. Yeah. And, these are accounts that they have good knowledge of the market and people follow them, right? They look at what they're doing. They say, oh, look, this person invested here or there. In fact, I think that one might be, I believe Zapper at some point had DeFi Maximalist as the default account. If you went to like Zapper.fi and said, I don't have an account, and just show me one.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm interested just to kind of see like what this person's doing. So this person has a lot of staked SNX, so they have a lot of wealth from that. They're into Dodo. I mean, that's a ton of money to me, at least, but nothing compared to the 12 million in funds that they have. Wow, this is crazy. The debt they've got. Oh, their synth debt because they're staking SNX.
Exactly.
They've only got 34,000 there, so not. I mean, that's a lot of money to me, but nothing compared to what this person has. Let me at least see it in the Invest tab if they current investments. So they're in. Oh, it's the Y curve vault. That's it. Actually, so they're not really much of.
Yeah, I think right now it may have cooled off a bit.
Oh no! But look at this, Mariano. Look, they're deep into. They're staking a 2.7 million of the new Aave token. They have a ton of wrapped NXM. I don't think they have as much NXM, which makes sense. Person probably wanted to not go through the KYC process.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Yeah. No, it's all wrapped NXM. Interesting. This is so. There's the SUSD accounting for all of their debt on synthetics as they're staking. Wow.
Looks like they play the based a lot. That's a lot of based.
That's a lot of based. Yeah. Nothing for that person, but it's a lot of based to me. Holy cow. Oh my God, this is hilarious. I love it. Thanks for pointing this out. That was DeFi Maximalist.eth. This is something, in case anyone was unaware, you can go into Zapper and go to manage addresses and you can type in any address. So, not that because this person's anonymous, I don't really mind it, but it's pretty interesting. If you find an address with lots of money in it, you can look at how they're investing it, which is just kind of a hidden secret in Zapper.
Yeah, exactly. It's I don't know the identity of this person, but any account that has an ENS name, I usually anything that sounds interesting, I just check it and I go back, I see what their investments are, and it's like, okay, this might be an interesting account to follow, right? And where things like the mempool can help is imagine you could download a bot that says, okay, mimic what this account is doing investment wise if you have the assets, right? So let's say this account, it has stable coins, right? And let's say they buy a certain token. Of course you can look at it twice a day and say, okay, they bought this token, I'm going to do the same. But there could be bots that look at what this account is doing and then front run them for it. Like, oh, my favorite account is going to buy, because I can see it, it's going to buy, I don't know, more Aave with their USDC. Then you could trigger your own buys even before theirs are mined. So it is pretty powerful.
So in that example, it's about mimicking the behavior of a wallet, a person that you think, I don't know, knows more than you or clearly is deploying some strategy as a whale.
Yeah. And
wow.
So you could say, of course, I couldn't do it with the amounts that this account is handling, but if you could have some amount of stable coins and say, hey, 10% of it do what this account does, then yeah, you're playing like the pros, right? With
crazy. That's crazy. It's funny because yesterday Seb, one of the co-founders of Zapper, if anyone doesn't know who that is, Seb was showing me that you can, so I did something like this with the Zapper portfolio, and we're always trying to come up with examples. We're trying to make more videos now, just to show people, or even just screenshots to say, like, this is what your portfolio looks like if you end up investing in something like PiDAO. And he was just showing me little tricks, like, if I was going to zap into an LP related to DAO, in the MetaMask confirmation, I would just copy the address I'm sending to, and from there in Etherscan, you can figure out quite a lot. You can find people who are holding that position or that liquidity provision, and then from there, I mean, if you wanted to, you could dig in and see, like, what do the top holders of this, what else are they exposed to? And I think there's a dark side to that, of course. Like, you don't want to just blindly follow something because someone with a ton of money is doing it. There's a lot of people with a lot of money doing stupid shit right now. But
for sure.
I think there's also this is really interesting. This DeFi Maximalist account is just awesome. For
that, I also use Nansen, although that is, well, Block Native is a paid account. You have a certain number of API calls for free. Nansen, I think you can get a trial for 9 USDC, but then it is a paid account. That also has, like, mempool is to watch what is happening right now. Nansen gives you like a great idea of the whole space. They have dashboards where you can see exactly that. You can point to an LP or a farm and see who are the top holders. You can, when new farms were being created every day, you could see, for example, you could look at the LP for Yiffy ETH, right? Which was probably the farming pair that everybody accepted. And you could see where it was going, and you could find new farms just by following that LP token. It was like, oh, okay, now people are staking it in this address. What is this address? Well, looks like a new farm, and people took advantage of that data to get in early, maybe.
Could you summarize, what do you think some of the takeaways from into the memo and using block recently? Is there anything that is, first off, subscribe to having native? What and how much is block?
Oh, Your video's cutting off a little bit. I don't know if it's on my end or yours.
How about now, Mariano? Is that any better?
Yeah, that looks
There we
better.
go. Cool.
Yeah.
I just stopped sharing that one screen. Maybe it's taking up more bandwidth there. Let's see. I was looking at the pricing for Block Native. I was asking what are some of the what's like maybe a follow-up action I or someone with my profile could take to try using Block Native. I can see, like, for example, the pricing here. Let me just share this. I mean, the pricing here, these are different products. Great for testing before you go into production. This one is perfect for going live on mainnet and testing trading strategies. Obviously, there's some like higher end products for for probably the DeFi maximalist.eth. Like, that person can afford this. But yeah, any follow-up actions you would recommend to me as a user?
So as a non-programmer user, I would say just open up a free account and play with it a little bit. There are a few examples that you can see, but I don't know how useful it's going to be, just for a regular user. I expect this more to be for teams who want to build products. What I would like to see out of this is teams building on top of this for the regular user, like giving normal people the tools to to do this kind of thing, to try getting ahead of somebody else trying to make a bit of profit, with different strategies. There's already a lot, there are many composability tools, right? Like Furu Combo, Furu.
Yeah. It's not spelled the way you expect it. I think you said it though. It's like FURO Crombo or Combo. I don't know.
Yeah. That they already let regular users do complicated things and compose different actions on different protocols. And I think what is missing is, giving them the edge to read what is going on in real time and react to that.
Yeah. That's helpful to know. So this is a tool that definitely I've seen other teams using that are building maybe a little bit beyond me. But for that other app that you just mentioned, which is Foro Combo, and by the way, this says is beta software and should be treated as highly unstable. So usual thing, like just be careful and recognize that you could lose your funds in this. But here is some quick example. There's these different actions I can take. This is like a way for me to string a bunch of actions together. Like maybe I open up.
Let's say you have Ether, you can open up a vault, generate DAI. You could put in 1 Ether, generate 100 DAI, which is, I believe now the minimum. And then you can take that DAI and maybe you can sap it into a Y vault, or you can start composing. You can do flash loans there. So maybe you can take a flash loan and then pay off debt of an existing vault and then take out your collateral and repay. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, wow, this has grown a lot. I haven't seen this in a while. This is really savvy.
They've added a lot of protocols. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they've got a lot here. I know, like, one thing that I used to do, but I don't anymore because the Y vaults cover it, is, I used to open up a vault, draw a DAI, and then lend that DAI because it was easy. And then you would earn interest on the DAI. And whenever you were done, you could just pay it back. And it's always in DAI. So it's not like your debt's growing, even if the price of Ether starts to crash. But this is a much more elegant way to go about doing that. But definitely I would tell anyone, like, that strategy I just tossed out, like that's what the Y vault does using using DAI, so you don't even need to worry about that. This is cool, man. I'll have to explore this some more. Mariano, what about, you mentioned earlier about potentially coding a smart contract. What was the idea there? And does that relate back to what we were talking about with Block Native, or totally unrelated?
No, it is related. I mean, if you think this would be interesting for people, we can do a very, very simple smart contract that I mostly have it coded up, so we don't need to do a lot of coding. But I could share my screen and show you.
Screen. Let's see it. Why not?
A couple of things.
I'd love to fail at this in front of you. So here we go. By the way, it works just like Zoom. If you hit share screen there, and then you're able to share your window or a specific tab or application.
Great. I'm probably just going to share my screen because I'm going to be working on different.
Yeah, make sure you hide that. You got to hide the DeFi maximalist. You know, you don't want to dump yourself.
Yeah. Let me see if this, if you can see my screen.
I can. Yeah. There we go. Very cool.
Okay. And what else do I need? I need this, and I probably need this as well. Okay. So let's see. So I was playing with this. It is a very simple smart contract, and I wanted to see what's the minimum contract that we can use to show kind of this front-running thing that we've been seeing. So this is it's like 10 lines of code. This is a smart contract. It has a variable called last, which takes care of the time, and it only has one function. It's called claim. So imagine that this is like a faucet that anybody can call every 60 seconds, and it just gives you one token, for example, right? This is what this is showing. So the balance of whoever sends the transaction, the message sender, it goes up by 1. That's the plus. So you deploy the smart contract, everybody's balances are at 0, and then whoever calls claim, their balance becomes 1. If you call claim again, it becomes 2. But you can only call this once every 60 seconds, right?
Cool.
And what I wanted to show you is, looking at this, the mempool explorer right now, you can see that it's at the Gurley testnet, and it's looking. Nano is myself. It's looking at this address, which is my deployer address, and I want to show you just how fast. I'm going to deploy this contract. So I'm going to deploy it using the DAppTools CLI, which I really like to use. So I built the contract, and then I'm going to say dapp create. I don't even remember what I called it. DeFi DAD.
Yeah.
So I'm going to create DeFi DAD and send it, I don't know, 500,000 gas. It's going to take a lot less, but I'm going to send create, and you should be able. Okay. Now you can see the transaction is not even mined yet. The contract does not exist. As you can see, status says pending.
Mm-hmm.
And there we go, confirm. So for about 5-6 seconds, well, we can see this timestamp, 8 seconds from the time it was caught in the mempool, which was, 44 minutes and 0 seconds till the time that it was confirmed. I had exactly 8 seconds to do something, right? Or a bot has 8 seconds to say, okay, can I make a profit from this? And in this case, no, it's just creating a smart contract, right? Mm-hmm. But this is extremely powerful. So now this is the smart contract address that was created, and we can even see it here. If we go to Gurley.etherscan, this is the one that I just created. this contract.
Cool.
And, even maybe we can even verify it real quick if we have time. Let me see.
Absolutely.
I don't want to, like bore people here, but
No, I'm pretty interested in this. I'm also like realizing as I watch all of this, it's like whatever fantasy I might have had at one time that maybe I could eventually learn to code. I'm like looking at this line, nah, probably not going to happen. I'm comfortable being uncomfortable, but this looks like Chinese to me.
So I'm verifying the smart contract. This is the compiler version, and oh yeah, I just need I don't need the API, I need the code. Let's see if this works. This is the code that I used, and because if we can verify it, then you can actually interact with it with your Girly account, which is what we want to check. Okay, successfully generated. So cool, right? This is the contract that I created. There is only one transaction. And then I'm going to try, if you read, all it has is, balance off, and you can put an address, and you can write, you can call the claim function, right? Which gives you one of something every 60 seconds. So let's test that. I'm going to do it via the command line. So I'm going to say send to the contract claim, and let's go back to the mempool. Well, pending, you see? Yep. And this is gonna take a few seconds. And how much did it take? 17:47. It took around 6 seconds from the time I saw it, or the mempool saw it, till the time was confirmed. And what did I get? If we go back to the contract and we check my address, which is the contact creator, 1 second, which is this, you will see that I now have 1. I used to have 0, now I have 1. Let me send another and see if it works or if it fails, because I don't think 60 seconds have passed. So if they haven't, and we can check again, pending. And let's see if this one passes or not. It's maybe going to fail, just because, yeah, it failed, as you can see, and we can check that it failed because you can only do this once every 60 seconds, right? That's per the smart contract. So let's try it one more time, just so we can get to number 2. And then I want you to try to call claim, if you're there using your Girly test.
Yeah, I'm already on the Girly net. Yeah, no one is more girly than I am, Mariano.
I'm probably mispronouncing it, but so as you can see, I now have 2 of this. So I want to do a couple of things. I want you to go to this address. So how can I best share this?
There's address? Actually there's a private chat on StreamYard.
Yeah.
There. Oh yeah, there we go.
Let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna share this one. Hopefully, I don't know if you're looking at it. Oh no, I can see what. Yeah.
Go right ahead. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna show you the screen again, and then I'll copy this.
What I wanna see is if you can give me your address, the one that you're gonna use.
It's dad.eth.
Oh,
the one
perfect.
I use for all my demos. Yep.
Okay, in that case, because the one thing that we still don't have is ENS address resolution. So,
sorry. Here, I can give you. Oh yeah, you probably already. Yep, that's the one. Yeah. You got it.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop looking at my address, and I'm gonna put defi.eth, and I'm gonna create, and I'm gonna start monitoring your address.
Nice.
So this is what I want you to do. I want you to, if you go to the smart contract and try to hit claim.
Okay. Yep. So I'm on this. I'm on the Etherscan page, and I can see balance of.
Okay. So you're here in read contract. You need to go here to write contract.
Write contract. Okay. I'm in that.
Connect
right
to Web3.
Here. You know what? Here, I'll show everyone what I'm looking at here, just so, because some of this stuff, I honestly just learned how to use some of this recently on Etherscan. Not that I'm any good at it, but okay, cool. So Mariano, I don't know, can you see my screen now? It says claim.
Yeah, I can see your screen. You first need to click the connect to Web3.
Oh, good point. I will, hold on a second.
Which is, yeah.
Connect that, MetaMask. I'll be right back with my screen here, just connecting it. Here we go, all set, just the usual stuff. All right, let me reshare.
I really enjoy doing this kind of things live, because it's
Oh, I do too. I especially enjoy when I screw things up, because I'm like, see, it doesn't work for us all the time. Even like gas prices too. Man, I drop replace a transaction like every few days. I no matter how much I do to look at that gas price and pay the proper price, it's just been so volatile. Anyways, all right, so I'm here. I've connected to my wallet.
Yeah.
And let's see. So I should be able to. Oops. Oh, that's interesting. Hold on just a sec. Let me just make sure that it's connected. Maybe I didn't. Please take note that this is a beta version, blah, blah, blah. Oh, there we go. Sorry, now it's connected finally. Let me share my screen again. There we go. Proving my point. Shit doesn't all.
I should have made a UI for this, but I think this.
All right. So if you all, can you see my MetaMask as well?
No. But I imagine you got a MetaMask.
Oh, I see. Never mind. It's okay. Never mind. You guys know what it looks like, though. And all right, so I've got I'm going to send some girly ETH. And does it matter, Mariano, what the gas price is on the girly network, or should I put it up?
No, you can send with one.
Cool. All right. So I am sending. So that's been sent.
Yeah, I see it as pending.
Cool. Here, I can add yours again.
Yeah. So I saw it as pending and then as confirmed, and we can go over here to transactions, and I can see this last one is your where is this?
That's me.
Wait, there we go. This last one 24 seconds ago from you, and I can copy your address. And I can read, and now, so I still have 2 of something, let's say, and now you have 1 of something, right?
Yep.
So let's try something. Let's see if I can front run your transaction, right? So
Should I call
can claim? Yeah, you should call claim, and this would be essentially done by a smart contract. By a bot, but we're going to do it manually, right? And
yeah, that's the point here. But for anyone watching this, I mean, if none of this makes any sense, I'm sorry. We're probably a little more into the weeds here today, but this is definitely something I think all developers would understand, and this is happening at a much faster pace in real life. But for the purposes of this example, so I'm all connected, Mariano. Should I I just want to make sure I give you the chance to front run it. So I haven't hit right yet.
Let's actually do this. Can you switch back to my screen share?
Yes. Yeah. Let's go back to yours.
And the idea would be you shouldn't tell me when you call right. You should just call it whenever you want, and see if I can front run you or not. So
right,
what I'm doing is I have
just
my account ready.
Watching it right now. I just want to, because I will do it soon here, so you can try to front run me.
And what I'm doing is I'm watching the mempool for anything that comes out of your address. And if I see, and I saw there a transaction pending, and I sent my own, and let's see what happens, right? Because I sent mine with 2 Gwei, and yours is with 1 O. And I see this. I see that your transaction failed.
You son of a gun, Mariano. Oh, I see that. Oh, it failed here now. You robbed me of my girly ETH.
I did. And this is, I know that this is still, it's a little bit more than just a beginner tutorial, but this is like the simplest way I can show how something like front running works, which I think it's one of the most interesting things, right? Oh, yeah, and we can see that.
Yeah, there you can see mine there. That's code language for you've been screwed by Mariano. You've been screwed by maximalist.eth. That's really cool. That's like, I mean, like I've always conceptually like understood like what's going on there with the mempool, but I definitely like I think it's just because it's a little bit beyond me. As we talked about, this is not for the average DeFi user profile. This is something that normally teams that are building on Ethereum have to think more about to provide a better product experience. And then there's the traders out there that are doing high frequency trading. How about Mariano, does this come into play though with layer 2? Like if someone's a high frequency trader on Loopring, which is the one I normally think of, does this come into play the same way, or is it different because you're using layer 2?
No, it's totally possible. It's just a lot faster. So Loopring itself, they promote their arbitrage bots and keepers so that people can, so there can be more transactions there and people can benefit from arbitrage and other things. And liquidity mining in Loopring. So it is still very much a thing. It's just, on a layer 2. But yeah, this can totally happen. Let me say, not almost in this case, your transaction failed, right? And yeah, I can probably stop sharing now.
So cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're back to it's no longer sharing your screen. By the way, I don't know if you can see the comments. I mean, there's it's some funny stuff said there. Alessio from Pi DAO was watching earlier, and then Bitcoin Louie there, who is always one of like 2 viewers that we actually have. He was laughing about the rug pull. He said Mariano rug pulled on you. We got to actually, before we end the show today, which we can keep going here, we got plenty of time, but I got to show everyone, there's this hilarious segment on the Defiant, Cami Russo's YouTube channel for the Defiant, that was created by this brilliant filmmaker who's been doing all of her videos. He did this thing for Blockchain LA Summit, and he made a clip about a rug pull. He did like a parody of like a DeFi rug. I'll let it speak for itself, but anyways, yeah. What else there, Mariano? This is cool. I feel like I get it, and it's kind of like been brought to life. And I think one of the keys here is like you have to definitely check out Block Native. It's at blocknative.com, and like any other like recommendations in terms of what people should check out there, or anything to get started.
I would say I always urge people to get into more of the development side of things here. I've been getting asked a lot, how can I get started with learning Solidity or blockchain development, or at least UI or anything. I feel like now is the perfect time for people who are interested in this to get curious and get working on new things, or just joining projects with however they can bring to the table, right? I hope that now that things cooled off a little bit, that everybody goes back to building. That the usual DeFi projects, they never stop building. But I hope that new projects that come out, they start with newer things, not just rehashes of farmings and yield aggregators. Those already exist.
That's the exciting thing about our space is there's just been so much new that's been released lately, and I do think there was a lot of interesting builds that did come out of the last few months, even like during the hype of like FoodFi. I still think it's interesting, like that people became more accustomed with staking a liquidity provision. Like that's cool. That to me was like, people are finally understanding that like when you put something, anytime you deposit something in Ethereum, you get like an IOU in the form of a token. And I don't think everyone understood that before, and understood like how you can sort of pass along those IOUs, and some of those IOUs become valuable, like YUSD, which is basically like interest plus trading fees plus yield farming strategies all combined in one. And so, I don't know. I'm never one to be super critical, unless of course it's a rug pull, and it's
no, for sure. And I think the average Ethereum user became a lot more savvy. I personally did more transactions this past couple of months than I had done in the last 5 years, because I used to be not too conservative, but I was not as quick to move money around, right? I made my investments and I kept them somewhere, and then I did participate a lot in this whole craziness of the past few months, and I learned a lot. I got to use almost every single DeFi project that there is, all of the lending ones, because I had this token and they didn't accept it in some farms, so I had to lend it to get another token, those kind of things. And I feel like I came out with a better understanding also as a developer, right? I looked at every single UI that there is. I noticed things that could be done better in every protocol, including Maker. I sent back some recommendations, because it's one thing when you're doing when you're moving money with no real rush. It's another when you need to do things quick and the UI doesn't help. So I've sent recommendations to so many projects. It's like, hey, it would be cool if this or this or this. And so I expect everything to improve from here, just because a lot more users, a lot more use cases. And in general, I remain extremely positive and cheerful about this space. It's actually one I kind of want to go back to building now after everything that happened.
You've been out like a few months and you're ready to go back. Hey, that would be great for Ethereum to have you back building. I think it's I think what you were calling out though about even giving like feedback, I have never been one to nag a team like with feedback, for me to go to them and be like, you need to fix this and this. But when you come at it from the angle you were describing, which is more of like that you're admiring parts of the product, and then you're sharing that on Twitter too, which is still like, no matter what we say about how crazy crypto Twitter can be at times. I think DeFi Twitter, it's all about showing people what's happening and showing them those applications. It's amazing how accessible founders are. You know, you can go on Discord for basically any DeFi app. They could have hundreds of millions, if not billions, and they're pretty easy to track down. You know, I'd say like maybe like Hayden is one of the harder ones to reach, and I think that's good. You know, I think at this point there's so much at stake there that they're focused on. And actually, Hayden always was like, I don't know him personally, but I know this from a distance. That was a guy that when he had 10,000 in Uniswap, he was working his butt off like he had 2.5 billion. He's a very focused person. So anyways, point being, it's easy to get a hold of folks. If you jump into the Zapper Discord, it's pretty easy to track down anyone from our core team. And that's cool. That's a really sort of special thing right now. I think one day we'll look back and say, man, that was such a great time when you could really talk to some of the leading, you know, builders in our space and learn a lot from them and find that everyone's so generous with their time.
No, of course. And things like UI are a lot easier to fix than, you know, a smart contract. So it's one thing to say, hey, your protocol should do this, and it requires, you know, migration of billions of dollars versus, hey, it would be good if, you know, the UI supported this or that. One thing I started doing is I used to be very public on Twitter about those recommendations. I now give them a little bit more privately now, just because I noticed even with all the good intentions, sometimes people would pile on negatively. So I gave MetaMask a couple of recommendations. And then there was this whole, you know, thread of people just saying, you know, bad things about a project that I love and I use every day, which is MetaMask. So I said, okay, I'm gonna jot down everything and just say it privately.
What is with that? The dog piling onto MetaMask? Like, I just cannot understand it. No one is not using MetaMask, and yet it's easy to just go and throw down criticism. Go build something to compete with it, you know. By the way, at the same time, like, feedback is a gift and it's good to give it, but like, just be respectful. They hear the respectful feedback. They were receptive to me when no one else was listening to me, and I was just really starting to make like more DeFi related content. But it was because of the approach. You know, it wasn't about it wasn't coming at them in a whiny, disrespectful tone, or it's about empathizing with the fact that they're overwhelmed. They have so much pressure on them, and everyone is because everyone uses MetaMask. They're flooded with feedback. I know from when I worked at Consensus, I was, you know, there is a connection there. Obviously, like, they were born out of Consensus, and all I understood is at one point I talked with someone who worked in customer support, and they had like 3,000 claim tickets, and this was back in like, I think May, like 3,000 support tickets, and those range from really like simple questions, you know, stuff that someone could figure out online, but maybe they're newer and they're thinking that they would be better off asking for help, to, you know, stuff that's much more sophisticated coming from like developers. And so, yeah, I don't get it. I still like, I mean, the ultimate combo is use a hardware wallet like Trezor or Ledger, import it into MetaMask. It's a very powerful tool to be able to use that in DeFi. And it's I've been playing with it more recently, and I can verify that if you are using a Mac, I was told Windows users are suffering still, but if you use a Mac, I've had a pretty flawless experience using the two together.
Yeah, I'm on Ubuntu, and Ledger in hand. And
Jesus, everybody get a hardware wallet. Oh my God, don't leave everything in MetaMask. Like, you're a phishing attack away from losing those funds.
Second Ledger, just in case the first one fails.
Oh yeah, and have backup. Buy two if you can afford it. Buy two, and then have a backup for it. buy 3 actually. Buy more than that if it depends how savvy you are with how to store that. Okay, so we covered that. I wanted to ask you actually about like what's a DeFi team that's maybe underappreciated right now, and clearly MetaMask falls into that, even though they're such a big name. If you had to name one other DeFi application or team that people should be looking into, what do you think that is? Is there someone out there right now that maybe is getting less attention that you wish got more attention?
One that always comes to mind to me is Open. Open.
Yeah. I've heard less about them recently, but yeah, project. Yeah, tell everyone too. What is Open, just in case they don't know what it is.
So even I have a hard time with this because I'm not like a trader by heart. But Open is a decentralized options platform for DeFi. So the platform lets you buy put and call options, as I understand they're called. So you can protect your positions or let you, and here you probably can explain it better than me, you can buy options for a certain token to say, okay, I think Ethereum, I think Ether is going to be X price in the future. So you can buy an option to purchase ETH at that certain price if it falls maybe, or to sell it at a certain price. Again, it allows you to hedge your buy and sell for different tokens in a decentralized way. And I played with it a little bit, and again, and that in one sentence, it's better than what I said. Hedge yourself against ETH decreasing in value. So if you think, that ETH could decrease in value, you can hedge against it by buying a put option. So, and the other way around, with a call option.
Yeah. This is like, I'm not an options expert either, but it's worth noting that options, I think, is a $1 trillion market globally. Like when you consider options through like KYC, that you can get through KYC through like a centralized exchange. And then it's definitely I think it's hundreds of millions, if not billions, in terms of what is trading on crypto related exchanges like Deribit. So if you're talking about crypto related options, and so that's why Open was so interesting to me. I think of Open and Hedgic, they're offering the ability to buy put options, which is to protect yourself from ETH going down, or to buy call options if let's pretend I've been scared out of the market in the last few months and I sold some Ether, and I'm worried the market could keep going down, but I'm also I'm worried that it could go back up and that it could take off without me being back in ETH. You could buy a call option, which gives you the right to buy Ether at a lower price when it's gone up to, let's say, a higher price. The opposite with puts is to protect against ETH falling in value. And that way, if it does fall in value, you can exercise and you can sell the Ether at a higher price. So that is not financial advice, because Jesus, I'm terrible as well. But it's a really cool thing to check out. Like you can see here that these are the expirations, which means that if I were to buy this for October 23rd, if I hold this, if I pay $4.89 per Ether, now I have the right to sell if it goes below the strike price of 330. So if Ether before October 23rd falls below 330, then I would be profitable. Like I'd be in a great place to exercise.
Right, but you could sell it for 375, right? And I think Open.
330. This is the price we're currently at, 375.
Oh, and the current. Yeah.
Here, if anyone's wondering. So, and by the way, too, they have some great articles on their Medium pages that like walk you through the basics of options. It's a little, like, I was deep in it for a few months, like learning about it and trying to communicate the value of all of this. But even it's been a few months since I did that, and yeah, I'm going to trip over my words with this as well.
And
so that's cool.
a couple of interesting things about it. Two female co-founders, Aparna and Alexis, and they're incredible, and they explain things so well. And also what you said about composability, that IOU tokens that people now understand when they put something in a protocol, that they get something back that is valuable and could be used for something else. Open has O tokens, so whenever you purchase one of those, and I don't think we've seen other protocols take advantage of them, but it's entirely composable as well. You could buy put options, and then there could be a protocol where you could use those as collateral, maybe for borrowing, and things like that. It's composability is it's DeFi's #1 tool and differentiator, in my opinion. It's
that's why we see so much being released. It's because everything it stacks. That's why the money Lego analogy or meme is great, because it's all about the fact that every time we have a new building block, you can sort of piece these together. I'm like really dumbing it down. There's a lot more work to it for developers than that, but it's that's what makes it so powerful. So like we're all continually benefiting from all these new innovations because they're being strung together. And like here, what we were talking about, there's the traditional put and call option strategies that we were talking about to protect yourself from downside, or maybe if you're in a short from the price taking off to the upside. But you could also think of it as protection for value that you have in a DeFi application, because I don't know if they still offer it, but they were offering it for Compound, DAI, and USDC. Wow, there's a lot here. Oh, here it is. These are their original products. This was essentially DeFi insurance against anything that could go wrong if your USDC or DAI was in Compound. But then they've got a lot more here for Wi-Fi puts and calls and puts for SNX. That's cool. I mean, this is another one. Like if you're staking SNX, your SNX is locked up in smart contracts on synthetics.io, and so I'm definitely exposed to smart contract risk, and this is a way for me to hedge against the fact that I guess if SNX were to fall in value here, hedge yourself against SNX decreasing in value. I think you could also use this then if you were, the expiry is October 23rd, so it's very short term, but I could be protecting myself or think about it as like insurance against a smart contract bug. Anyways, cool stuff, man. Thanks for reminding me. I haven't looked at them in a while. Anyone else that you've been thinking about lately? Like that's open. Yeah, I'd love to have them on the show sometime and talk more about what they're doing.
There's been one of the good things that came out of this whole farming craze is that I became like a tiny investor in a few projects.
That is right. You're an investor in the greatest project of all, Zapper. So yeah.
I am. That was total serendipity. I used Zapper every single day, and I just sent a DM to the Zapper account out of the blue. It's like, guys, whoever's behind this account, if you're looking for investments, I would love to be a part of it, because I'm an avid user, and everything worked out. That was great. So yeah, there are a few other projects that I'm looking at that I want to invest. So I don't want to mention anyone yet, but let's say that the good teams, they're still here. They're still building. There's more than just food coins coming out, and just the market's a little bit crazy right now. U.S. elections as well, a pandemic. Let's not forget that 2020 has been a crazy year, right?
Yeah, it has.
A crazy year. So I hope that things cool down or just chill a little bit in 2021, and we get a whole bunch of new projects in. But I don't know. For the last 3 months of the year, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But to your original question, sorry for no alpha leaks, Bitcoin Louis. There's a whole bunch of projects that are going to come out, and I cannot name just one.
Oh, that's interesting. So you have some that you've invested in that can't be named yet. That's exciting.
Yeah. There's going to be, and they use, they do the thing that I like, composability. It's taking the best of different permissionless protocols and adding value to that.
Yeah. I think I know one of them you're referring to, and I'll leave that off the list right now too. But like really important projects that, some of these are straight up DeFi applications. They mirror or mimic a use case from finance that already exists in the legacy world. That's great. That'll continue to be exciting. Like that's why Alessio's actually, I think, watching, but like that's why like PiDAO is so important, because it gives you ETF like exposure to DeFi, and ETFs are like one of the most popular products in finance. So why wouldn't we mirror that sort of utility in DeFi? But then there's infrastructure plays that are coming, and there's the holy grail of Ethereum infrastructure where we move to proof of stake. And, it's funny, for all the attention that there's been on DeFi, you just got to be excited for us to move to Ethereum 2.0. And I feel like all that work that's been there, I can't wait for us to get there. Like, it's just.
Are you running a validator?
I have everything I need to. Not yet. No, I wanted to try it on one of the. I wanted to try it with Prismatic Labs, and it's something I keep putting off. I spent about $100 on some stuff because I wanted to do a demo. Like I wanted to show how you set it up, and I was looking at some guides by Hudson from the Ethereum Foundation. So yeah, I think I talked to you a while ago about that. I would love to try to figure it out together. It's probably easy for you, and some of it will just blow over my head. But yeah, anyways, like that's the sort of stuff that it's nuts to me how we've lost track of that progress with Ethereum 2.0. I know it's top of mind for you and me, but I think the general market in DeFi, which is very niche within the greater crypto community, has even lost track of everything happening there. The only time I really heard the topic being pressed more is as gas prices went up, everyone was like, okay, like clearly we've broken our system now and we need to move on to Ethereum 2.0. And then it's also been like a windfall, I think, for attention to layer 2 tech like Optimism and Loopring and Matic Network. So yeah, just exciting stuff, like really, really exciting stuff in the next few months. Mariano, I want to probably cut us off here in just the next few minutes, because I've taken up way more of your time than I originally told you I would. Also, if folks are looking for more content, there is this great Ethereum Invest event that CoinDesk is live streaming. I'm going to talk around like 5 o'clock, and I'm going to do a live alpha leak with. Not quite sure it's you'll see what I mean. I'm not one to. I actually kind of despise that term, alpha. I think a lot of it is bullshit in our space, but I'm going to talk a lot about some things that I think will help the average DeFi investor. And also there are, what am I thinking of? Tomorrow we'll end up having another show with Cooper Turley. So we're going to talk about Audius. I've been trying to spotlight everything that is related to DeFi per usual, but I'm also trying to bring to the forefront like understanding NFTs and other use cases that are being built out on Ethereum, like Audius, which has been really successful. So Mariano, before we go, I do want to, I got to show you this rug pull video from the Defiant channel, but anything else that you would love folks to walk away from this conversation from? Like anything else that they should be paying close attention to in DeFi?
I would say the things that I always say, stay safe. I think the days of 1,000+ APYs are probably past us. Just remember that earning 10 to 50% on your capital is an insane amount for the fiat world. So even though we may have gotten past the craziness of 2 months ago, DeFi is still very much alive and still nascent. There's a lot of money that is gonna pour in in the next few years. So anybody that is looking to build, I think everything is still in its early days. So I encourage anybody who's a developer or who plans to become one to do so, because you're still pioneers in this industry. And what I like to think about is, like you said, alpha. It's like I don't like the term anymore, and chasing alpha, that kind of thing. I realize that for developers, you create the alpha that other people chase. So I think that there's a lot of people that just building something new. I think that that becomes a lot more valuable and fulfilling than going after a different farm every day. It's
and that whole thing with alpha, it's a term that's meant to refer to like excess returns. It's when you are earning more than whatever like our average market returns. If you were just, let's say you were in like an index of the market. All of this is kind of hard to measure because DeFi is so new still. And it's like, well, what is the benchmark that we're measuring against? And, I think what I'm actually going to talk about on CoinDesk today, I'll probably show some of this tomorrow on Yield TV, is I think the real alpha is to think like a long-term investor in DeFi. And I think it's to practice the fundamental strategies that have worked in traditional finance, but also to come with an open mindset that this is a different market. It's driven by a lot of the same fear and greed, but to be long in this space over a longer time frame is probably one of the most assured ways to potentially win and benefit from what's happening. There's been a lot of money that was made and lost over the last few months, but if you have been holding Ether since 2016, or if you have been holding Bitcoin since 2013, like you're holding a lot more of a return just from that. And DeFi then allows you to gain new exposure, but you want to limit yourself. You don't throw all that money into it, because at the end of the day, all these new experiments, they could go to zero and you could lose all your money. And then I guess on that note, as one last question for you, that kind of goes back to this idea of you can potentially lose your money. I just wanted to call out if Andre ever sees us out there, or anyone that's been, I think, harassing him, lay off this guy. Like, he keeps building all these incredibly innovative ideas in DeFi, and I just find it remarkable that everyone is down for permissionless finance and down for financial freedom and down for all of the perks of not having KYC and signups and regulators in all DeFi use cases. But then the minute you are given an application that you're told is still in testing and you toss all your money into it, you come crying when you lose it. Like, like take responsibility for your actions and stop being a bunch of assholes. Leave Andre alone. But anyways, are you seeing the same thing? Like, am I crazy? Like, I can't believe like the whiny babies that I'm seeing amongst
you're
out there.
You're not crazy. And in fact, Andres' Yearn deployer address is probably one of the most scrutinized and in the whole space. So I would imagine that there are mempool explorers looking at that address constantly, seeing whenever it deploys something new. But like you say, it's so much people give him shit for, like he says, testing in prod, but all of his experiments and actual products, they rely on so many different existing DeFi protocols that there are certain things that are very that are just cannot be reproduced in a testnet. Even if you copy mainnet state over to a testnet, there are things that you just have to test on mainnet. And people, for some weird reason, they, like you say, they use contracts that are not ready for production. And that sadly drove Andre away from, Twitter, where he was very active and, shared a lot of things. He's still working, just, in private now, which I think it's a loss for everybody.
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure to you're building, and then you got to communicate it all. And this space is so reflexive. Reflexivity normally refers to like when prices go up, they go up a lot higher than they should, and when they go down a lot more. Same thing with like people's emotional reactions to this stuff. We wouldn't be where we're at right now if it weren't for Yearn.finance. We wouldn't be where we're at if it weren't for Andre and that Curve Y pool and the original iEarn protocol. So, lay off the guy's building, just leave him be. And I'm excited to try his new products. I haven't tried anything other than the Y vaults. And it's been great. They're really innovative products. They make it possible to just drop in your tokens and let it automate these, often sophisticated gas intensive yield farming strategies. And, what are you doing? This guy's like the Michelangelo of smart contracts. Like, let him be. On that note, here, I got to play this. Have you seen this fake commercial that, he goes by, I think his Twitter name is Director Schmidt. He does all the videos for the Defiant channel. But Mariano, do you know what I'm talking about? I
think I saw it, but I want to see it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me play it here. Oh, sorry.
People would buy it. If you could bottle Andre, people would buy it.
The end is so funny, just with the whatever like language he's attempting to mimic there. It's just hilarious. You gotta see. So here's the rug pull. You should watch this whole video. Anyone out there? It's 27 minutes of brilliance. A lot of it is a curation of all the videos they've been doing and covering all these DeFi topics. The meme video is like a short film. But here's the rug pull. Here we go.
And watch out for rug pulls.
Hey, let me ask you a question. You like rugs? I got loads of rugs. I got rugs for all different occasions. You load them up, and then you've got to pull people out the way. Like this. Pull. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, Bob, get over here. Let's demonstrate to the people how we do this. Now he's standing on here. Now, guys, you got to make sure you load up the rug with a lot of people. If there's not a lot of people, no point pulling the rug. You got to be heavy load up, like the whales say. Heavy load up, heavy fall down. So Marv's going to stand here, and we're going to pull. Hey, come here, you crazy bastard. Come on. All right, so now you grab hold like this. Make sure you have a firm pull and there's plenty loaded up on the run. Otherwise, no point doing the run pull. You know how we do, guys? Okay. Are you ready, Marv? It don't matter because we're going to put it now. Yay! Look at that, guys. If you haven't seen a run pull like that, guys, you're going to smash him. You know what I'm saying? That is
Dude, he's a genius. Now he is like, he's a, he's been a full-time filmmaker for 20 years. So, it makes sense, but man, like I watch them all the time and they're just brilliant.
It was part of a 27-minute video that I had only seen a couple of snippets. So I'm gonna watch the whole thing.
So funny. So, well, back to the cheap production that I put on here called Yield TV. So, hey, Mariano, thanks so much for your time. We'd love to have you back. It's funny because I like actually had almost forgotten that you are an investor in Zapper as well. So that's exciting. So I'm sure we'll have some future conversations here too, just to talk about the Zapper product. But for anyone interested, please follow Mariano at it's Nanex Cool. I had it here earlier. Where'd it go? Here it is. You can follow him on Twitter. He posts a lot of like interesting insights there. And then, make sure you subscribe here to Yield TV at tv.zapper.fi. Mariano, I'm going to play our loud video one more time. And then, man, thanks so much for your time. We'll have you back soon.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, man. Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.